Hi. Hi. If you've been laid off, you may have a lot of feelings going through your mind, your heart, your everything. And I want to share two thoughts with you that could be useful. So, as a caveat, I want to say everybody's situation is incredibly different. So, if these are not useful, don't use them. If they're useful, use them because it might be that you want something completely different. So, with that, the two things I'll talk with you about are the biggest takeaway I ever learned from grief, from the field of grief. And secondly, what happens when you have more time to go inward. So those are the two things in this short message. One, at uh, one point, I had the very important responsibility to care for two people, two close people who were processing and continue to process through grief. Now, notice I didn't say get through grief. I really am saying process through it, go through it. It's who knows what an intense and how long a cycle it is. So, in exploring the deepest part of what can help people understand grief and go through that process, the biggest idea that I learned that I was completely unfamiliar with is that everybody goes through grief in a different way. So for some people, it is thinking about the thing that just happened a lot. For some people, it's completely disengaging. So it's so different. It's taking actions that are completely aligned with your regular day-to-day life, or taking actions completely opposite from your day-to-day life. And you just don't know. You don't know what an individual person's grief process will be. I say that because if you have been laid off, there's a shock to it, even if you kind of knew what was going on. So the reason I say this is with that grief and with that shock, a lot of things change and you may start to have questions. So you may start to think things like, should I have worked until 9 p.m. every single night? Should I have maybe taken more PTO? And I'm just saying that's normal. That's very, very normal to think about what just happened. It's also very normal to connect with people who are in the same situation. So I actually encourage you to do that. It is going to be normal, whatever your process is. And that process could take a day, a week, years, and it could keep coming in and out. So that is normal. The fact that grief looks different is normal. The second idea I want to share with you is in a while, if you've just been laid off, again, a while could be an hour, could be a week, could be a month, you will feel that you're spending more time with yourself. And as many wise people have said over the years, the most difficult journey is the one inwards. The most difficult journey is the one with your own feelings and your own thoughts. People who train to be monks have said this. It was the worst time, the loneliest time, the most grief-stricken time. So you're going to spend more time with yourself. And when that's the case, just be aware that it can take you to a million places. So it can suddenly remind you of a summer camp when you were a kid and a grievance that was done against you. It can remind you of some harsh words that somebody at your most recent job said to you. It can remind you of a strange situation in college that just comes to mind. So that's normal. So both of these things are normal. They may happen, they may not happen. The fact that grief happens in a myriad of ways, and the fact that the more time you spend inwards and with yourself, the more memories, thoughts from your mind and from your life will come up. That's normal too. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news in a sense, but also I'm glad to be the bearer of information. This is part of the normal process. So you may see it come across and come in and out as waves. It's part of life. It's part of the normal process. See you again. See you soon.